Hello and welcome. My name is Tyler, and today I am with a very special guest, Chris Hainley from Fairy Tale Acres Academy, and she's going to be teaching me and you a little bit about service animals, the benefit of service animals, and how they may be the right fit for you. Chris, how are we doing today?
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm super new to this space, but I'm looking forward to kind of learning a little bit from you. You want to start with kind of what is a service animal?
Sure. Well, we're going to learn and grow together, Tyler. It's all about education and learning what we can do. So, a service animal, as defined by the ADA, is a dog that is specifically trained to perform a task or a job that helps a person with their disability. So, what they do is in direct relation to that person's disability.
Okay, awesome. So, what are common animals used for service, and why? I feel like kind of the main I don't want to say stereotype, but the main thought to everyone's first idea is like a dog. Like a dog is a service animal. Are there other types of service animals, or?
Correct. When you think of a service animal, usually people will right away think of a dog and German shepherds,
Okay.
and that was because with the seeing eye dog, that was the main breed they used. That was the first thing that we thought about with service animals. They used to use miniature horses, but they have since shied away from that, and pretty much the only animal that is recognized now is a dog. It doesn't have to be a purebred dog. There's no size requirements on the dogs. It could be a male or female dog, a mixed breed, a purebred. It doesn't matter as far as that goes. It matters about the dog's personality. And we can get more into that when we talk about personality, training, and ability as we go on. But generally, a service animal is a dog that has been trained for the person to meet their disabilities.
Miniature horses, that's definitely something I did not know. I didn't even know. So is a miniature horse like, are we talking like almost ponies?
So with miniature horses, they are generally about 36 inches at the withers, which is where their neck meets their back. And the reason they were used were because of the duration, the life expectancy, if you would, of the miniature horse. They could live upwards of 20, 25 years. So with all the training involved, the intense time that it takes to prepare a service animal, it was an awesome option because they lived. The life expectancy was so long. But they are since fading them out. I'm, to be honest, not exactly sure why. I haven't done a lot of research on the whys. I'm just focusing more on how I can help in today's time.
Absolutely. That was just something that kind of shocked me. I was kind of curious about it. So
Yeah.
just for my sake, almost, I was interested. So are there different types of service dogs that you're familiar with, Chris?
Yes, there are. There generally are three different types of dogs or classifications that we put them in as far as types. Guide dogs, they're for the visually impaired. We have hearing dogs for those with hearing limitations. And then the general term, which is more of a blanket term, assistance service dogs, which can be used for different types of disabilities. They medical alert. They can be used for mobility. They can be used for getting help, retrieving medications, providing stabilization, detecting seizures, low blood sugars, those types.
Wow. Can they have more than one like responsibility? Can they be a therapy dog and like an emotional support dog?
Well, when we think about therapy dogs and emotional support dogs and service dogs, those are three different types of dogs.
Okay.
So let me explain them a minute, and then I'll be able to, I think, better answer your question then once we have some clarification for that.
Awesome.
So when you think about an emotional support dog, usually an emotional support dog is the person's own dog that provides companionship, or its mere presence calms their owners down. They're actually different than a psychiatric service dog, and they don't have public access. So they can be, certain housing places don't allow pets. If you've gone through the proper procedures and working with your doctor or your counselor, and it's been determined that you would benefit from an emotional support animal, which with the emotional support animals, they don't have to be dogs. There are people that have cats or birds or maybe hamsters or gerbils, fish. But most people think of cats and dogs. You're able to live in places that don't allow pets normally because these are more than just a pet. They provide companionships and support and do better for your mental health. So that's our one type of dog. You also mentioned therapy dog, which a lot of people think therapy dogs and service dogs go hand in hand. And they can. When you look at a therapy dog, those dogs are usually owned by individuals and then facilities, nursing homes, daycare facilities, residential treatment programs. They will invite these people in with their dogs. And what those dogs do for the clients then is they provide attention, affection, love to the individuals or groups. These dogs technically have no public access. They're only allowed into places or facilities that they're invited into. Therapy dogs can be a person's, an owner's individual dog. They can be part of a group. There are several groups out there that, they're therapy dog groups, and they will go into big facilities, nursing homes as groups, or you're a member of that group.
So do these kind of like, are there like any certifications or classes that may like separate the two between like an emotional support dog that is, allowed in places that may not have access to other animals and a therapy dog?
Sure. With the emotional support dog, you can see online, there's all these places, register your animal for a certain amount and stuff. A lot of these sites have very good intentions, but they can be very misleading.
Okay.
Some towns may have registrations, but generally what is needed for an emotional support animal is a letter from your medical care provider, whether it's your family doctor, your psychiatrist, your psychologist, your counselor, but something from a medical professional stating that you will benefit from the need of the dog. As far as formal training and certification, technically, there is none. As a dog trainer myself, I really encourage people, for emotional support animals, take the basic courses with your dogs, basic training, basic obedience, and look into the American Kennel Club's Canine Good Citizen. These are great programs that once your dog has passed these programs, it will show the landlord, the tenant, the people that do your housing, the property management, that your dog is well trained. A lot of people try to skirt behind things and, well, this dog provides support for me and I'd be depressed without it, but the dog is not really well behaved. And it's better to have a well-trained dog. Absolutely. As well. So technically there are no formal classes for emotional support dogs. As far as therapy dogs, a lot of that is up to the program you're working with. Okay. A lot of different organizations that have certain requirements for the handler, the dog owner, and the dog. They have to just learn how to act in public together as a team. They want to make sure that your dog's not going to jump on somebody, or your dog is potty trained, and just basically a good dog. A canine good citizen is a really good place to start because your dog has met certain training requirements.
Awesome. So we went over emotional support dog, and we also went over a therapy dog. So there's one more here that I'm looking at. What is a facility dog? I'm not very familiar with it. I'm not sure, whoever's listening, how familiar they are with it. But what is a facility dog?
Facility dogs are trained specially and specifically to work with volunteers or professionals. They're usually trained by programs, and they can do various things depending on the facility. They can greet clients coming in. They can assist with physical therapy sessions. So picture somebody who may have had a stroke and they're having some limited range of motion.
Okay.
Instead of the traditional therapy sessions where you're squeezing a ball or using different exercise equipment, brushing a dog um, can exercise the muscle and the arms and help with motor coordination as
Oh,
well.
wow.
So usually public access for these dogs is granted with the dog and handler when they're specifically working with the client with a disability. So
Okay.
not just myself and my pet dog going to this physical therapy place. Usually it's the professional
Okay.
physical therapist who has a dog that's trained. They also work with counselors. Counselors can use somebody that's doing therapy, psychotherapy, or your general therapy counseling sessions can have a dog in that setting. Dogs can break down those barriers, the tension. Dogs can, in that situation, even help in school facilities. Kids, children are stressed, or when there's tragic situations, they can really help in those facilities. A lot more schools and school districts are having what we call facility dogs. Each school is assigned a dog, and the dog just can make coming to school good. Or the
Yeah.
child having trouble at home or test stress or something going on, the dog can then be there. So those dogs are more specifically trained to a little bit more of an advanced level than a general pet or therapy dog. They actually do something.
I
That's
love that.
word to say. I'm sorry, but
No, you're fine. I love that you brought up the school example, because I remember when I was in college, every time finals would come around, they'd bring therapy dogs for like the whole weekend, and it was like so uplifting for the entire campus. And I know like it was just a swarm of people, like so excited to kind of like de-stress by just going and like hanging out with some pups.
right. And that's what the amazing thing is. It's so beneficial because not only you as a college student, the stress of finals, you're getting to decompress, de-stress with the dog. It's rewarding for the dog as well. They're getting free pets and loving. And as the dog handler, I've done therapy events with some of my animals to just sit back and just watch something that I enjoy bring other people joy. It's very rewarding. So it is like the circle of just giving, and it's amazing to be a part of.
Just a win-win situation for all parties.
Everything, correct.
So, Chris, how can I find, not just me, but how can anyone find a service dog program?
So there are so many different ways to find them, and it can be hard. I think my goal would be the best place to start. Honestly, there are places. If you would look, you can Google, and we'll be able to provide some of these links too.
Yeah.
Assistance Dog International is a place that has different service dog organizations throughout the United States. So they'll be able to gear specifically for your state. Google is a good place to look, but we all know what can happen when we start Googling, and the internet has so much information. I would also recommend reaching out to local dog trainers.
Okay.
They may not be able to train your service dog, but they can certainly help you. The local American Kennel Club for your area may be able to put you in contact.
Okay.
Google service dog organizations for your state. Those are good places to look. And if you're struggling and you honestly don't know where to start, you can email me or message me. I will try to connect you with somebody in your area that can help you find, or a program in that sense. I want to be able to provide that help as well.
Absolutely. Just kind of, getting someone's foot in the door could mean so much in the long run.
Correct.
So, can my personal dog or anyone's personal dog act as a service dog as well?
I'm going to say maybe. There's a lot of training involved with a service dog and different types of personalities. So my best bet for that is if you already have a dog that maybe does provide some tasks for you if you have a disability, contact a trainer or an organization. There are different programs that will help you train a dog you already have. The biggest thing is, does the dog have the right temperament or personality to do it? If you need a dog to help you maybe with mobility or walking, but the dog, say, really doesn't like children and maybe barks a lot, that might not be the best dog suited for you. He's great for you at home, but to take him out in public, what if he sees a child running around and starts barking? That's not necessarily safe for you. He could make you fall over and is not the best thing for that child either. So that's where we talk about, the basic training, the canine good citizen. Those things can help prepare the dog to be able to be in public. So it's kind of a hard situation. We can, your personal dog can, pending its personality.
Okay. Now I feel like this next question may have, I don't know if a similar response or it might be a maybe as well, but can I train my dog myself?
Certainly you can.
Okay.
Again, according to the ADA, the American with Disabilities Act, you can train your dog yourself. Now, there are some different criteria that can be set forth in each state and each township. So the first thing that I would recommend is, if you want to train your dog yourself, I would start researching your area, researching your state. Are there local and state, county guidelines and thoughts that you would want to, that they have set forth?
Okay.
Not to sound rude, do you have experience training an animal? Yeah. The best thing to do is reach out for a trainer. The solid foundation of any good dog, whether it be a service dog, a therapy dog, or anything like that, is your basic training, your basic obedience, and socialization. Okay. The dogs you see out in public just didn't get taken out with no training. It's about socialization. So, you can start with a puppy that you got. There are a lot of breeders and breeding programs that will work, and they train and they breed for certain temperaments and, certain characteristics that can be passed along. So there are programs that will do what they call owner trainer, where they will help you train your dog. There are programs that will start the dog, teach it the foundation, and will help you finish it. So yes, you can, but again, there are a lot of things to think about. Your own physical limitations, maybe your emotional limitations. So I ideally would recommend somebody try to find a mentor to help them at the very minimum.
So it kind of varies person to person and dog to dog and animal to animal.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
But it can be done. So I don't want to discourage anybody from thinking that they can't do it. But, it can be done. It just takes some work and dedication.
Just kind of. What are some of the benefits of owning a service animal?
Wow.
Even though we've covered so many already, if you kind of had to give it a good gist?
I would say, for me, the first statement that pops into my head: independence, okay, freedom are, for me, the first thoughts that pop in my head when we think of owning a service animal. There are so many, like we talked about before, different types of service animals. Let's think about somebody that may have PTSD, that would have panic attacks or something, and they don't like to go out in public because what if they have a panic attack or something? Well, having a properly trained service dog to provide psychiatric service work. If a person's about to have a panic attack, that dog could be trained to sense that and alert the owner, their partner, that they're going to have a panic attack, or they can remove the owner from Walmart, let's say, find the nearest exit and take them out. What if people get too close, triggers a panic attack, so the person doesn't go shopping? The dog can create, let's say, a barrier around them.
Almost like a safe space, kind of?
Exactly. So that could give that person more independence, because they would be able to go out more. They would feel like they had more freedom, because their dog could help them, you know, and provide that grounding, that guidance there. Somebody with low blood sugar,
Okay.
they would have a diabetic alert dog, or somebody with like a cardiac issue with their heart rate. They're afraid if they go out, what if they can't feel it soon enough, or a seizure? If the dog can sense it beforehand, the dog can cue the person, and then the person could sit down or lay down. You have somebody who can't, maybe they're in a wheelchair and it's hard for them to open doors or go shopping. You can have the dog help pull the wheelchair, push buttons to open doors.
Wow.
I don't want to diminish the fact that this is a living being and they have feelings and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But in some aspects, it's like a piece of medical equipment. You know, the wheelchair that moves the person. The dog can get help if somebody would fall in the store, you know, can pick up that item that I dropped that I can't pick up, or get my medicine. So I really feel that benefit is just giving somebody maybe their life back, or another level of their life that maybe they thought they lost before.
Okay. I love that, that like giving someone their life back, because I feel like that could definitely be so, like you mentioned the word grounding again before. It's like so important, having that sense of safe space.
Correct.
So before we say our goodbyes, Chris, what are some final thoughts that you may have? Just whatever you'd like to leave me with, the audience with, anything really.
I think the biggest thing I want to say to people is service dogs can be for anyone, everyone, in the sense of they're not just for older people. They're not just for blind people or people who can't hear or somebody in a wheelchair. There are invisible disabilities or illnesses that people can't see. Just because someone may appear young and healthy, like yourself, Tyler, doesn't mean that there's not something that a service dog would provide a benefit for you. So talking with your family doctor, seeing if you have that disability that service dog can provide a task for you. So I don't want people to feel that they're not sick enough, or they're not depressed enough, or they're not, their mental health is too stable. You know, reach out to somebody, reach out to a program. We can talk to you and help you decide, is a service dog really right for you? Mm-hmm. Or would an in-home service dog, maybe you just have things you need help with at home and not in public. So there's in-home service dogs. Or would you benefit from an emotional support dog that is just there, you know, to provide that companionship? So I don't want people to feel that they're alone, because they're not. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to go through this alone. There are a lot of different programs out. So I want people to know there's help out there for you. And I think that's my biggest thing, whether it's helping the cost of trying to help you, you know, have the cost of a service dog, having an already trained service dog for you, or just even being an ear. You know, reach out is my biggest thing.
That's awesome. I thought that was a really good point you made. Like, someone doesn't have to be quote unquote sick enough. You know, there is no line you have to cross. It kind of, like we've said this whole discussion, each part varies from person to person.
It does. Like myself, he's not a service dog yet. He's in training. If you look at me, you would know that I struggle from some psychiatric issues.
Yeah.
And I do. And sometimes they're pretty severe. I do take medicine, but I know with training service dogs for other people, I saw what it could do for me and how it empowered. So I'm not ashamed to say anymore that, hi, I'm Chris. I have some mental health issues, and this is my service dog. He is another tool that's helping me be a better person and grasp, you know, my mental health. And it's okay. I don't look sick. but that's okay. Not all disabilities are visible.
Well, thank you, Chris, for joining me. I really appreciate it. This is my first time doing a broadcast like this, and I had a ton of fun. I'm glad you were able to take some time and speak with me today. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
I did. Tyler, thank you so much for having me and just spending time with me and just sharing my passion and the things that I like to do for people. This was definitely an amazing experience for me as well.